All right, continuing the run of Stevie Wonder's classic period, we are now on Fulfillingness First Finale, which is Stevie Wonder's 17th studio album, and it was released July 22nd, 1974. You know, I was thinking about this album. I think when it comes to his classic period, people definitely talk about songs in the key of life. I feel like Intervisions and Talking Book are also mentioned, but I often wonder how most people perceive Fulfilling This First Finale in terms of its classic period. There are definitely some joints on here, some really big singles on here, but I feel like it's one of the ones that sometimes tend to get overlooked. But as usual, Stevie has some joints on here as well, and he kind of goes in a different direction. Whereas Intervisions, had a chance to speak to a lot of social issues and stuff on here on that one. This one kind of went in the opposite direction a little bit, but it opens with "Smile Please." The other thing about this album, real quick, is that sometimes when I look at track lists, I sometimes feel like when I see the track list, I'm supposed to immediately know what that song is. And I know when I was preparing for this, when I pull up this track list, I'm like, oh, what does that song sound like? What does that song sound like? But when I play it, I immediately am like, oh yeah, I remember that one. So anyway, "Smile Please." Like when I play "Smile Please," it immediately comes back to me, which is a good song, a good opening. And I really love just the latter part of that song and the way Stevie closes it with, a lot of the ad libs and stuff on that one. "Heaven is 10 zillion light years away," which is another good one, a little bit more toned back for Stevie. But one of the things that I love the most about that one mainly has to do with his ad libs, which has this sort of gospel inflections to it. And that's what really makes the song for me as well with that one. "Too Shy to Say" is an incredible ballad by Stevie. It's not up there with "All in Love is Fair," "You and I," and "Visions," but I love it just the same. And it's interesting, there were a couple of remakes by that one by Jody Watley and Diana Ross. And when you listen to Stevie Wonder's version, I was wondering how they would be able to do it. But Diana did her thing in her little angelic, breathy light voice. And she was able to kind of go, more with some of the higher notes and her falsetto on that one. So, of course, the Boogie on Reggae Woman, Stevie, as I mentioned before, has this genre-like thing to him. So that was kind of his reggae record. And was a big hit. People love that one. And then side two, we kick off side two with "You Haven't Done Nothing," which once again is Stevie speaking to a lot of the politicians as he did in the album before with "He's Mistress Know-It-All," and he did with "Big Brother." But that was a single as well, and it's another really good high tempo track that people really, really love. "It Ain't No Use" is cool. "They Won't Go When I Go" is another really, really, really good ballad by Stevie Wonder, and has a really haunting operatic type feel to it. And that one was remade by George Michael. He really did a good job on that one, believe it or not. And but yeah, I love the way he actually constructed and sung that one as well. And vocally, Stevie was top notch. And then it closes with "Birds of Beauty," which has a really, really good melody to it, and the chorus, the instrumental is kind of playful, and it really would have made for a good closing track. But "Please Don't Go," which ends the album, isn't a bad way to go out. Is memorable enough, but when I look at "Birds of Beauty" now, I was like, oh yeah, I know that song, and I do like that song, and preparing for this is one that's starting to really stick out to me more and more. But yeah, I think "Fulfilling This First Finale" is good. It actually won Album of the Year, and he actually won Best Male Pop Vocal, and Best Male Rhythm and Blues Vocal Performance for "Boogie on Reggae Woman." But I just wonder, when I mention this album to my peers, meaning black people, what comes to mind? Is this one that, like, they were like, oh yeah, I know that one? Or is it just really known for the two singles? Boogie on Reggae Woman, and They Won't Go When I, no, not They Won't Go When I Go. What am I talking about? You Haven't Done Nothing. So I'll ask around. I'll see what people say. But we know what people do remember, and that is the one that's coming up next, Songs in the Key of Life. So make sure you guys tune in as we discuss that epic album next.